So what's going on, guys? Today we have a pretty cool video, pretty straightforward video on my Stihl 261C. And today we are going to be installing these Westcoast saw 3-point dogs. Now this process should be relatively straightforward for every other Stihl saw and for the Westcoast saw dog installs. But why I'm putting them on such a small saw? So my 261 is my main firewood saw. I've got my 440 as well, which is another great saw. But this 261 is just a great saw. Every time I have to pick up a piece of wood off the ground, I usually have to set my saw down on the ground because I can't take my saw and roll it on top of the log and stick it in the log, because this stock single dog here does not have enough of a spike on there for me to actually do that. And so for me, that was enough to want a set that I can actually roll the saw on top of the log and stick it in there and have the saw actually stay. Another pretty awesome feature about these 3-point dogs, I actually have a set of these on my 440, is that this bottom tooth here lines up with the very bottom of your chainsaw bar and where your chain is going to go. So when you're actually making your face cuts and your back cut in a tree, it's a lot easier for me to align those cuts right in the tree when I have something like this Westcoast saw dog, where I have a direct almost point or arrow per se at the bottom of the bar and the bottom of my chain. It's just easier for me to line up my cuts. So today we're going to go through actually getting these 3-point dogs on this MS 261C. So first things first, I'm going to take the bar and chain off of this saw. It'll make working around this area a lot easier. And then the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to take off the stock dog on this 261. The dog that I actually have on there right now is a jerry-rigged 440 dog that I took off of my 440 because I was tired of having this little tiny one on my 261. So, but the removal process is exactly the same. So now that you have access to bolts that are holding on your stock dog, you can actually take a T25 bit. I usually use a drill here. You actually have to be careful with this bolt here that goes into your actual crankcase itself. You don't want to strip that out, so just be careful, but we're just going to remove that nice and easy. Set that off to the side, and then this one here on top also has a nut on the end. So just take your wrench, put that back behind there, and take your drill. Just like that, this dog is ready to come off. These old dogs, you can keep them or toss them. So next step here is finding the right dog. So the right dog that we're going to use is this dog right here. You can see that this face is totally flat. The other side here, which is the inside, actually has kind of a small little cutout there on the top. That goes behind this front bolt here, and then this one goes in the front just like that. You're going to take your hardware just like this. You're going to kind of give it a nice start. Start it by hand. You don't want to cross thread this thing. So I'm going to take my drill, and it's not set on a very high setting because I don't want to strip it. We're going to go in nice and easy. And then I'm going to take this one here. That one might need just a little bit of persuasion through there. Man, this little booger's kind of tough here. That right there is our first portion of this install. Super easy. Second install is all going to involve this cover here. So remember, this process is the same from a 261 all the way up to any other Stihl saw. Take this dog right here, and it's going to go and get installed on it, the cover, just like this. So you want a couple things here. I've got the hardware kit for this set of dogs, and I also have the actual heavy-duty chain roller as well, which is right here. So this chain roller, the way that it goes on this cover is as follows. This cylindrical piece is totally symmetrical, so you can put it on this way, you can put it on this way, either one. This right here is like a little lock collar piece that you just slide completely on down into here, and then you press it in, and it keeps this down on this actual bar here. But before we do that, let's install this on here. Put that through just like that, and then this little nut goes right here on the back. This is all 8mm hardware. Okay, you want to do that nice and snug. Obviously you don't want to strip it out. And then we're going to take our roller, put the roller on just like that, and then we're going to press this onto here. I'm just using the end of my socket here to do that. And there we go. I ordered the hardware kit from Westcoast Saw that these nuts always go to the outside. So that's going to go through just like that. Nut is going to go here on the end. Same with this side here. And the nut goes right onto here. And the nice thing is these bolts actually fit perfectly in the back of the case here. Just tighten these down with a socket. Just like that, we have our other set of dogs with our actual larger chain guard here. Let's get it back on the saw and see how it looks. Well, that concludes our install on the Westcoast Saw 3-point dogs on a Stihl chainsaw. This process works the exact same throughout any single saw that you have, but I'm super excited with this install. It is going to match my install here on my MS440. You can see I've got the 3-point dogs as well. These are the classic versions right here. It's not their shorty version. This is just the classic. So if we're out here in the Pacific Northwest, a little bit thicker bark. But I've heard great things about the shorties as well. Just so you guys have a quick overview, you guys can see I've got the nuts on the outside there. Then this actual chain roller attaches to this outside dog here. You move on to the inside dog here, and that inside dog is secured with the stock hardware that actually comes with the saw. So thank you guys for tuning in. I'm super excited about these dogs. I think they're gonna work out great for this little saw. My little firewood saw has got quite the nice little setup on it now. So thank you guys a ton for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.